All right, take it away.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get started here with the team introductions. First team on the track is going to be the Coffin Draggers. All right, and skating for the Coffin Draggers. I'm going to give them a second here as the rest of the team comes around the turn. Skating for the Coffin Draggers, we have number 13, that's Hugs and Stitches. Number 18, our co-captain, Embezzlement. Number 23, Murder Mittens. Number 94, Angel of Beth. Number 96, All of You Die. Number 300, Dolly Spartan. Number 414, Foxy Razordine. Your captain of the Coffin Draggers, number 616, Antifa. Number 666, Strange. Number 710, Mo Fasta. Number 1029, Reckless Rose. Number 1312, Rickety Bones. 7780, Pee Wee Vermin. And last but not least, we have number 8055, Frankenherder. Coaching on the bench tonight, we have Gare Bear and Grant for the Draggers. Thank you.
Now, taking the track from the far bench, it's the Runaway Brides. Skating tonight for the Runaway Brides, number 00, Novocaine. Number 25, Nightmare. Number 52, Gnarly Quinn. Number 9MK3, Gypsy Danger. Number 100, Cryptic Callie. Number 151, Ash Smash'em. Number 187, Sour Apple Teeny. Number 420, Astro Thought. Number 623, Hollyhood. Number 999, Sweet Baby Ray. Number 1981, Sandra Slay O'Connor. Your co-captain, number 4, Cherry Kiss. And your captain of the Runaway Brides, number 95, Lightning the Queen. Coaching tonight on the bench for the Brides are Milani Mangler and Mimi Mahler. That's a lot of M's on the bench.
A lot of M's. I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah. All right, so we are just about ready to get underway. We thought we'd let you know about the silent auction items. There are 3 silent auction items tonight. The raffle prizes work basically, I saw a picture of it. For 2 raffle tickets, you get 5 minutes cuddling with the pets. You know how the raffle tickets work, so go down and buy raffle tickets. Cheryl's reports that the dogs are absolutely adorable.
Big shout out to Momo out there looking like an Ewok with the cutest bedhead. Highly recommend checking out the puppies.
Anyhow, the silent auction items are a Ray Riot tattoo gift card. There is a Cardinals game-used football. That's a new one. And then we've got a siphon draw silent auction item. We'll bring you more on those in a bit. Here's your first jam. Your jammers, those wearing the stars at the back of the pack. That's Cherry Kiss for the Runaway Brides and All of You Die for the Coffin Draggers. And we are about to get underway, and then we'll tell you what happened. There we are. We're underway. You see Olive took that star off directly. Cherry now takes the star off as well.
Both jammers still in as they approach the first turn. Both teams doing a good job of keeping the jammers in the pack here. Quite a slow-moving pack.
Yeah, very slow. Cherry is looking for an opening, and that star's been passed forward, taking over as jammer for the Coffin Draggers. Out and clear, active point scorer is Hugs and Stitches. Stitches now racing back to the pack. Cherry's out as well and puts the star back on, so we've got two jammers again.
The Draggers doing an excellent job of holding some points there in the back.
Stitches frantically trying to call it off. Cherry thinks she got a point at the end. Cherry always thinks she got a point at the end, but Cherry often is right. So we'll find out from the infield. So what happened? Those people with stars on their heads, those are the jammers. They're the ones who can score points. Your goal is to, once your jammer gets all the way through the pack and gets out, you heard us say that, then they become an active scorer. After that, projector must be something. Anyhow, after that happens, once the person actually gets out of the pack the first time, then after that, every scorer they pass is a point. Every skater they pass is a point. We are back to the action. That's Dolly Spartan for the Coffin Draggers and Sandra Slay O'Connor for the Runaway Brides.
Dolly making it out past that last Bride's blocker. It looks like Holly was taking Dolly to the rail before she was able to get out. Sandy's still stuck at the back of the pack as Dolly's coming around for her first scoring pass. Dolly gets out cleanly. That dragger wall in the back, it looks like that's Pee Wee Vermin and Angel of Beth doing a great job keeping Sandy back as Dolly's coming through for her second scoring pass.
So Dolly now coming around for a third scoring pass. As you said, the team that gets out first is what you call lead jam, and they can control the clock, but the Coffin Draggers have no reason to stop the clock here. Dolly Spartan knocked down to the inside, down to the infield, takes a hard fall down to the infield. 4 seconds left on the clock, and the clock may mostly run out here, and that's going to do it.
It looks like both teams there picked up a couple of penalties. Looks like we're heading into our first OTO.
It would appear as such. They're going to come up here and ask us some questions. One moment. Sorry about that on the infield. We didn't know I had the control to do that. Usually once it's showing the scoreboard on the TV next to me, then I don't have control over what's on the wall. So that was just introduced to me that they have changed that. So that has been fixed. Scoreboard's now up on the wall. That ended up being a 12-point jam for the Coffin Draggers. So the Coffin Draggers have jumped out to a big lead here, 16-0 in the first two jams. Runaway Brides are going to send Cherry Kiss to the jammer line. All of You Die once again for the Coffin Draggers.
It looks like both teams are going to be down one blocker going into this next jam, so the pack looks a little bit lighter here. Less bodies to get through for the jammers, but they still do have to get past the opposing team blockers. Both jammers still in as we are about 15 seconds into the jam. It looks like Olive has made it out and is our lead jammer.
Yeah, Olive out once again for the Coffin Draggers. You've got Cherry Kiss in the pack, trying to get clear, is going to weave through backwards and is now waiting at the front trying to play some jammer defense on Olive before taking off. Now puts a skate in the track and takes off, and Olive calls it off.
I was going to say Cherry there doing a little bit of jammer defense, trying to prevent Olive from scoring additional points.
Multifaceted. So the Coffin Draggers off to a hot start here in the first three jams. 20-0 Coffin Draggers off the jump. This is going to be nightmare for the Runaway Brides. Strange for the Coffin Draggers.
Once again, it looks like both teams picked up a penalty there on that last jam, so each team will be skating down one blocker. And we're off to the races there with a big initial tumble there coming out of the blocker box. Strange fighting there against Holly Hood. I believe that was Reckless Rose providing some beautiful offense, allowing Strange to get out and be our lead jammer.
Nightmare gets out for the Brides as well, so we'll try to keep this to one scoring pass for Strange. Strange right up to the front. Hollyhood strong on the defense at the pivot, and Strange has to get up and call it off. Hollyhood keeping herself from becoming a point.
Did she get the farthest one in the back of that? From my angle, it looked like. Yeah, they had a ghost point. I didn't see the farthest in the back, no, but that's fine.
The farthest front one?
Yeah.
Then it was three. Just three. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
It looks like both teams skated cleanly that last jam, so we're going back to a full pack. All the skaters on the track here. Skating for the Draggers is going to be number 13, Stitches.
And that is Lightning the Queen for the Brides. Lightning down to the inside. Brides looking for some offense here. And Stitches along the inside gets out. Lightning's going to get out as well. We got ourselves a race.
Our first jammer race.
Yeah, Lightning's got the hammer down, is really trying to get some speed going. Stitches racing back to the pack, trying to get back. And a whistle blows. And a whistle blew, and the jam was called off.
Both jammers just absolutely moving on that last one.
Yeah, absolutely. I see an arms penalty being reported in by our OPR on Murder Mittens, number 23.
It looks like the Draggers are going to be down one blocker as we go into the next jam. That's going to be number 300, Dolly Spartan for the Draggers.
Sandra Slay O'Connor once again for the Runaway Brides.
Looks like we have a little bit of a discussion there still happening on the infield. It looks like we're ready.
All right, now a challenge. There was a pause and everybody waited, and now the challenge flag has been thrown by the Coffin Draggers. So, Coffin Draggers do have the ability. Each team gets a challenge in each half. And you can win your challenge back if your challenge is successful as well. So, Coffin Draggers are going to challenge either points or a penalty. We'll find out what here momentarily and let you know once that challenge wraps up. So, stoppage in play, just under 10 minutes to go in the first quarter, just underway, 5 jams in the books, 23-0, Coffin Draggers in the very early going. If you're unfamiliar with bank track roller derby, teams can score up to 20 points sometimes in a jam, so 23-0 is definitely not insurmountable in any way, shape, or form. But I would say a little surprising that the Brides have not yet gotten on the board. They are our defending champion for a reason, and I feel like the Coffin Draggers have really gotten out to a fast start here. Interesting to watch.
They've been doing really well on their defense. There is still, however, 10 minutes left in the first quarter, and really anything can happen. I mean, we've seen some wild upsets in some games.
Tons of time left in this game. But interesting fast start, I think.
Yeah,
Anyhow.
absolutely.
So what do you got to bring us?
Well, let's talk a little bit about some of the sponsors here of the league. Let's go ahead and talk about Raya Riot. Raya Riot Tattoo. At the Riot Collective Private Studio, tattoos and laser tattoo removal come with zero judgment and all the good vibes. Whether you're adding new art or letting go of the old, you'll find a safe, inclusive, and chill space made just for you. Follow them online at The Riot Collective, and at Boner Riot. Fun fact, the Riot Tattoo Shop is actually owned by one of the Draggers.
Right, and Boner Riot skates with the Draggers too. That's Ricky D. Bones. So
Yes.
both of their tattoo artists are out there skating with the Coffin Draggers at the moment. Our other tattoo sponsor, we have more than one. It's roller derby. That happens. Lost Dutchman Tattoo is one of the Derby Dame's longtime sponsors. They've been donating since 2011. They are dedicated to providing a safe and inclusive environment for all. As an ally to the LGBTQIA+ community, they're committed to fostering a welcoming atmosphere for everyone. Our talented artists specialize in a variety of tattoo styles, including traditional, fine line, black and gray, new traditional, and Japanese. They invite both appointments and walk-ins to experience the artistry. Their shop hours are Tuesday to Saturday, 12 to 8. They are on 19th Avenue and Indian School Road. Join them at Lost Dutchman Tattoo, where your tattoo journey begins in a supportive and safe space. We are back to the action. The challenge was returned to the Coffin Draggers. Challenge was, the regulators decided that that was an inadvertent whistle, so no illegal call-off was charged, no penalty charged, no challenge used or recycled. And we are back to the action. This is Cherry Kiss for the Brides, Dolly Spartan for the Coffin Draggers.
Looks like we have Dolly there fighting against Lightning and Mary in the front of the pack as Cherry takes over as their lead jammer.
First time the Brides have gotten lead jam here, and the Brides are keeping Dolly mired in the pack, so the Brides might be looking for more than one pass if they can. Dolly able to sneak past, though, and get out. So
Cherry coming around for her first scoring pass, takes the low and scoots by unscathed.
So that will be our first points for the Runaway Brides. We'll check that from the infield. And it's 4 points for the Brides like we expected.
It does look like the Draggers will be down 2 blockers on this next jam, both blockers picking up directional blocks there. So a little bit of a lighter pack here, moving into the 7th jam.
That's going to be All of You Die for the Draggers down to the inside. Gypsy Danger is jamming for the Runaway Brides and is fighting up against the wall. Now gets some help from the pivot for the Brides, trying to get clear. Fighting against Stitches. Great defense by Stitches, but Stitches just runs out of space, unfortunately, and Gypsy able to drive Stitches past that 20-foot line. You can only block if you're within 20 feet of the pack as defined by the officials. Now that star pass forward, that's something you can do in Derby, is you can take that star off and hand it to the player wearing that stripe. That's the pivot, hence called because they can pivot and become the jammer. So that is what Stitches did. Pivoted and became the jammer.
Gypsy doing a beautiful job there, transitioning on the low of that blocker while trying to pick up and secure those last few points for the Brides. Able to pick up 4 points on that last jam, bringing the score to 23 to 8. Draggers in the lead.
So this is Sandra Slay O'Connor for the Brides. That is Dolly Spartan for the Coffin Draggers.
Sandy fighting against a 2-wall of blockers. Pee Wee Vermin and Angel of Beth doing a great job moving up and down the track, trying to hold back that Bride's jammer. Up in the front, we have Stitches trying to provide some offense against a 3-wall of Bride's blockers. It looks like the Bride's jammer fell a little bit back there on the pack. Is now stuck at the back of the pack, fighting against a 2-wall.
Wow, just clearing space. Reckless Rose for the Coffin Draggers, trying to plow over skaters, gets knocked down to the infield. So Reckless Rose getting up, recovering with the star in hand. Heard weighted out from the Draggers bench. There's 7 seconds left in the jam, and out the front of the pack goes Sandy for the Brides. So now Reckless Rose is going to wait and watch and get bumped around as the clock expires on the jam. Looking at the score, no score for either side, it would appear. That is going to be Cherry Kiss for the Runaway Brides, All of You Die for the Coffin Draggers. Yeah, a whole lot of action in that jam, but no points for either side. No jammer for the Coffin Draggers. We've got our first power jam. Runaway Brides with a power jam. If your jammer gets a penalty in the previous jam, you don't get a jammer at all in the next jam. So now the Runaway Brides can focus on offense only and only focus on getting their jammer out, not having to pay attention to the jammer for the Coffin Draggers.
It looks like the Draggers picked up a arms penalty on their jammer that last jam. So, ooh, big hit there on Tifa by Mary. Cherry is out as the only jammer in this jam. The Brides working to keep that defensive wall separated of Draggers blockers as Cherry's coming in for her first scoring pass. Cherry takes the low, is able to make it past embezzlement, and is now trying to pick up those other 2 points. Lightning and Mary attacking that wall, trying to open up some room for Cherry, and she is able to get out. Draggers working to get back together, trying to control the pack of the speed and remain in front and in control. Brides waiting for the moment to attack as their jammer's coming up to try and get additional points.
Really excellent work by the Coffin Draggers here, keeping the pack moving and not letting Cherry Kiss string together possibly multiple scoring passes beyond the ones that she did. We will check on the score from the infield. Runaway Brides looking to chop into that lead, and they do so with 10 points on the board for the Brides. There'll be about 5 minutes and 5 seconds to go in the first quarter when this jam begins. That's going to be, as the score has gotten much closer, Sandra Slay O'Connor and Strange for the Coffin Draggers.
Strange opting to take the low there and is able to get past those initial blockers, but still has 2 blockers to get past too. It looks like they were out of play and they had to let them go.
Strange gets out, and that's going to help the Coffin Draggers to staunch that momentum that the Runaway Brides were building. Hollywood shakes loose and is going to take over as jammer for the Brides. Strange tiptoes around. Nifty little move around the outside of the pack there, and Strange gets clear for the Coffin Draggers.
Yeah, Draggers did a really good job there opening that high lane, allowing Strange to get through. It looks like we picked up 2 penalties there. Black has picked up 1 penalty. White has picked up 1 penalty as well, so the pack will be a little bit lighter this go around. Jamming, we have number 23 for Black, that is Murder Mittens, and number 4 for White, that is Cherry Kiss. Cherry Kiss is out as your lead jammer, able to get out on the turn here.
Murder Mittens out right behind, and we're going to have a race back to the pack. Cherry's got a little bit of an advantage, so he's going to see what kind of points she can get racing in there. Goes in back first, just really right back into somebody. Big collision. A couple skaters taking a moment to get up. That was embezzlement that absorbed the brunt of that contact, and that hurt. Yeah. So embezzlement basically just met spine to spine with Cherry Kiss. So not a lot of padding back there.
Not a lot.
No.
They were coming in with speed.
Yes. Cherry gets 2 points, though, manages to get those hips in between those 2 blockers. So 27-20 Coffin Draggers with 3.5 minutes to go in the first quarter.
Jamming up next for the Brides, we have Nightmare. And jamming for the Draggers, I believe that was Dolly Spartan.
That was. Both teams being quick to take that star off the second they don't see a clear path. That has been a defined strategy so far for both teams here in the early going. Dolly's got the star in her hand. The tricky part about taking that star off, if you're new to bank track, is you got to get it back on when you have it off. We saw the Brides actually fail to score points in their last bout because the helmet cover shot off the head of the skater that was trying to put it on. It can be hard to get that on while skating.
It is elastic, and sometimes it just fights you. It
Sure.
looks like Dolly is able to get out on that initial scoring pass, fighting past Nova, who was pushed out of play. Mary's still in on the
Mary.
original pass, fighting against Beth there. Both skaters taking a tumble.
Clock expires on the jam, so looks like we'll have points for both sides there perhaps. We'll check from the infield and find out. They're discussing.
Looks like it was a clean jam on that last one, so full pack. Jammers for both teams. That's going to be Lightning for the Brides, and is that Olive? For the Draggers?
Yes, there were no points for the Brides in that jam, by the way. I was not correct, but that's why we wait for the officials to make it official. So was a 6-point jam for the Coffin Draggers, though. It helps them to extend that lead back to double digits.
It looks like the Draggers are opting to go for a defensive wall there for a moment of 4 skaters, trying to keep Cherry in, or trying to keep Lightning in, excuse me. The Brides opting for a similar strategy there for a moment, fighting to keep Olive in.
Lightning queued up to wait on jammer defense, waited for Stitches to take over as jammer for the Coffin Draggers, and then wiped her out. Stitches now is going to get clear and take off. So we've got action with 11 seconds left in the jam. Lightning is now looking at the pack, and is still going to square up to play defense. Lightning not interested in getting out since it'd be rather pointless. You would want to stay in the pack there. You're not going to force a call off by getting out. So very, very intelligent play by Lightning, as one would expect. She was basically born on the track.
I'm definitely noticing a lot of defensive play this go around.
Yeah, I see that the jammers for the brides are pivoting to play pivot almost.
Yes.
And it has been a noticed thing that I, as a layperson, am seeing as well. No points for either side. This will be the last jam of the first quarters. We've dipped under 30 seconds to go. It will be whenever it starts anyway, because it's not going to start yet.
Strange was ready for that whistle.
Crystal Ballbuster says official timeout, so 27 seconds to go in the first quarter. 33-20, Coffin Draggers in front. Hey, your food truck option, Bevy, outside, they said that their number one recommendation is the campfire. It's root beer with marshmallow, cream, and vanilla. They
Sounds
did say
delicious.
that they don't have any of their sweet treats, so they do not have waffles tonight, but they do have pretzels and popcorn to go with those fancy soda drinks. They've got a big old menu of like 12 different like fancy sodas. So, and then also some non-soda options. So refreshing treats for a warm night such as tonight. That's Bevy outside. That's our food truck option.
Can't make it to the bout in person? No problem. We've got a live stream for you to watch from home. Visit our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Arizona Derby Dames. Shout out to our subscribers and all of the fans watching on the live stream. Thank you for supporting our league from home. Also, if you want to go take a moment to cuddle the puppies, just tune in on your phone to Twitch and then you can see when you need to come back. Looks like we're going to be heading back to the action here.
I was trying to find the raffle details. Oh, there's Freya down there.
Jamming for the Draggers, that's going to be number 666, Strange, and it looks like that's Gypsy Danger jamming for the Runaway Brides. Strange fighting the front of the pack there. It looks like that's Dolly Spartan try to provide some offense and open the path for Strange. Both jammers still stuck as we're coming around on our first pack, about 30 seconds off of this jam already
Defensive
lost.
struggle, as you've mentioned a couple of times. You've noticed it too. I'm sure other people have.
It's a very low-scoring, very tight game. Certainly not impressed, though, considering these teams have been working hard.
Yeah, obviously, these are the two teams that played in the championship bout last year. You see them being very evenly matched here in the first quarter once again. There's Gypsy Danger now getting out for the Brides, but it's largely academic, and she knows it. Wasn't going to get back around, burns that time off the clock, and we will go to the first quarter break. I'm sure both teams could do for a brief breather.
Yeah. Very tough battle so far.
Absolutely. All right, 5-minute break for our first quarter break. No points for either side. Once again, 33-20 Coffin Draggers. Don't forget, Halo Animal Rescue is down there. We've got raffle tickets. You can buy raffle tickets for your options to play with the pets. You didn't send me that earlier?
What? Do you want me to send you that picture?
Yeah,
Oh, why didn't you say that?
that's what I said. Anyway, we'll get the raffle details to you momentarily, but Halo is down there with apparently extremely cute dogs, so you're going to definitely need to check that out during quarter breaks, halftime,
They're so
between
cute.
the bouts, before we have the Valkyries bout coming up here in the second half of this evening.
I believe they are here until 6:30. Is that right?
That is correct. They are only here till 6:30, Halo Animal Rescue, so definitely make your way down there, especially during halftime. Get those raffle tickets for some cuddle sessions. Here's what I got. Here's what we got. Valentales, 5-minute cuddle session is 2 raffle tickets. The kissing booth is 1 raffle ticket. The photo booth is 1 raffle ticket. That is our pet options down there. So get those raffle tickets down there in the vendor village. That is the Valentales.
I think I'm going to go spend one of my tickets. Do you think I can make it back in time?
I think so, and if you don't, I'll start the jam without you. It is okay.
Thank you.
Go for it. We're back to the game action. Shirls is down there cashing in some of those raffle tickets with the Halo puppies before they take off. I respect that decision, so I'll bring you the action. This is Sandra Slay O'Connor on the jammer line for the Runaway Brides, and all of you die for the Coffin Draggers, and we are underway. Both of your jammers in pack. Sandy turns around yelling for something. Passing the star, Olive passes the star straight forward to Hugs and Stitches takes over as jammer. So Stitches is your jammer for the Coffin Draggers. Runs into Novocaine and gets knocked down. Couple of skaters down. Crowd gives a cheer down there in the turn. So now we've got Stitches with the star on, weaving through and trying to finish off the scoring pass, but has not been able to get past those last two defenders. Meanwhile, your Bride's jammer is still Sandy and still has the star in their hand.
Mary and Gypsy did a wonderful job there holding back Stitches.
Stitches able to weave around Sandy and a couple of other skaters.
Ooh.
Finishes off the scoring pass. Big cheer from the crowd down there in the corner as Stitches finishes off that scoring pass.
Beautiful transition there on the low.
Very much so. So that's definitely what the Draggers were looking for, just that kind of thing to start this quarter off, and the Draggers have doubled up. 43-20 is their lead at the moment as we start the second quarter after a 10-point jam for the Coffin Draggers. This is going to be Cherry Kiss directly in front of us for the Runaway Brides. Reckless Rose for the Coffin Draggers.
Both teams picking up a penalty that last jam, so each team will be down one blocker.
As we said, if you're just joining us, this basically, if the Runaway Brides can win this game, they would be the #1 seed in the playoffs. They're done for the season at 4-0. If the Coffin Draggers win this game, then they're in the driver's seat to take the #1 seed, but it would still be in play next month. That's what we're playing for here. I thought I'd give you a game update on that. That is Cherry Kiss taking over as jammer, or excuse me, taking over as lead jammer for the Brides.
Cherry makes a complete scoring pass there, is coming around for more. Reckless Rose fighting against some Runaway Brides blockers that are still trying to get out.
Cherry, meanwhile, right up to the pack, and this time runs into some trouble. Angel LaBeth and another blocker for the Coffin Draggers there who I can't see.
That was Dolly Spartan
Yes.
as the pivot. Both Draggers blockers doing an excellent job taking away that momentum that Cherry Kiss was coming in with.
Very good to stay together there and not separate when Cherry coming in with full head of steam. 4 seconds left. Cherry knows it and is going to just try to ensure that she gets in front of all those skaters. You don't lose the point if you get by a skater and they go back by you. You still have the point, so that is not. You don't have to be in front of them when the jam ends. It's not like curling.
It looks like Black picked up a couple of penalties that last jam. They will be down 2 blockers.
Runaway Brides. Cherry did get all 5 of the points in that second scoring pass. That's a 10-point jam for the Brides to cut that lead back into the teens, 43-30. All of a sudden, the team's just slamming points on the board here in the second quarter. We're going to have a stoppage in play. This is going to be, according to Crystal Ballbuster, an official timeout. So, stoppage in play, exactly 12 minutes to go in the second quarter. 43-30, Coffin Draggers. According to the whiteboard, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say it looks like the Dragger Jammer may have picked up a cut penalty on that last one, so they will be sitting in the box for this next upcoming jam, which does mean it is going to be a power jam for the Brides. Looking at the score here, 13-point differential with Draggers leading 43-30. That is absolutely doable in terms of scoring enough points to make up and possibly overtake that lead. So we'll have to see what happens in this next jam.
All right, so a lot of discussion going on down there. It looks like kind of a conference that's taking place there in the back straightaway, although this was not announced as a challenge. So we'll remind you once again, Halo Animal Rescue is here till 6:30 p.m. when Halo Animal Rescue is taking off the Valentails. Shirls went down there. Adorable.
Adorable.
I hear.
I
Yes.
got to tell you, the puppies were busy, so I didn't get to cuddle them. I will check back during halftime. But I am happy to report that at least one puppy has been adopted tonight.
That is awesome. All right, one of the Halo dogs get adopted.
Yeah. So So be sure to check them out, y'all. Halftime is going to be here in 12 minutes or less. Check them out. One of those puppies could be yours.
All right, we are back to it, and it is going to be an extremely fortuitously timed Runaway Brides Power Jam. And who else on the jammer line but Hollywood? It is a rather small pack for, oh goodness, the Runaway Brides have all 4 of their blockers. The Coffin Draggers only have 2. The Coffin Draggers are really going to try to get together here and cannot at the early outset. Stitches tries to block. Now the Draggers do get together, though, so they're able to get together at the front of the pack and break the goad situation. They're going to try to get Murder Mittens off the track, and they do once again, so they're going to stop the pack here. Hollywood manages to dodge Murder Mittens at the back of the pack. The Brides are going to look to really hang some points here as they're now controlling the pace of play in this power jam.
Hood doing an excellent job blocking or evading those blockers. They're able to go high and then low to get out. The Brides doing a good job of separating those 2 Draggers blockers, making it impossible for them to form a wall.
We've got Hollywood coming around for a 4th scoring pass and is going to get back to the pack. He's going to weave through, ducks around, slides around Lightning, and calls it off. We will check from the infield, but that's going to be a big, big jam for the Runaway Brides.
That's always a very tough position to be in a
That's
power
right.
jam.
That is a 20-point jam for the Runaway Brides, and the Brides take the lead. The Brides jump in front for the first time in this bout, 50-43.
If you're following from home, we do have a lead change, so make sure you hydrate.
That's right. I'll sip my favorite Diet Mountain Dew that's sitting right in front of me. Like Lana Del Rey said, Diet Mountain Dew, baby, New York City. Something, 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 girl so pretty. Not sure how the rest of the song goes. And breaking out immediately for the Coffin Draggers is Murder Mittens taking over as jammer. Murder Mittens right back out there after that Bride's Power Jam, doing hard work and then jumps straight back out there, not taking a jam off. That is hard, man.
Yeah,
and taking over as jammer.
I believe the Brides are also may have attempted to execute a star pass there. I see a lot of attention being put on Lightning, and I do indeed see that star, that penny, in Lightning's hand.
So
Murder Mittens burning time off the clock here, trying to score some final points before calling it.
Everybody
Big
got
tumble.
rolled up on. Look out. That is the worst when skaters get rolled up on from behind. Cherry looked like she was wise to it and is up and back to the bench. We're going to have a stoppage in play. I'm sure they're going to need to discuss that collision and find out if there's any penalties therein. No, they're not. I said I'm sure, and that's the second time tonight I've been wrong, so I'm going to stop saying that. That's a team timeout for the Coffin Draggers. That's their first timeout of the second half. Coffin Draggers are going to call a stop to the action here. Both teams got points there when it was all said and done. 4 points for the Brides, 7 points for the Draggers. The Brides stay in front, but the Coffin Draggers get 3 points closer, 54-50. This is all you could want as far as a nice close bout here in the early going, huh?
We love a good close game. It, keeps it interesting. What's going to happen?
Stick around till later. The Bombshells and the Valkyries. Cheryl's next to me. Are you co-captaining or who's co-captain tonight?
I'm co-captaining, yeah.
Cheryl's I almost reflexively said Cheryl's co-captain of the Valkyries, but I know that can vary. But Cheryl's is your co-captain this evening. Just making sure. You could have been captaining. I don't know.
No.
Anyway, no, Cheryl says with a chuckle.
That's Mimi's job.
I like, you know what? That's crew resource management right there. No, we have a captain. We have a captain. Yes, thank you. That is an end to the timeout. As I said, though, the Valkyries and the Bombshells, we're going to have a challenge probably. It would have to be a challenge because, yeah, Runaway Brides are going to use their first half challenge now, so that'll be a stoppage in play that's going to take a little longer. Still 54-50 Coffin Draggers.
I'm assuming that is what is being challenged there. For those of you watching at home or those of you watching here, is the penalty that was called on the Bride's jammer. It looks like an arms penalty was called. And as Clifton explained earlier in the game, when a jammer picks up a penalty, it becomes a power jam for the other team.
And we just saw the Brides get 20 points on a power jam. That's how quick that can turn.
Yep.
It is possible to score 25.
Oh, I believe I've seen it done.
I have seen it done. It takes severe effort, 20 is pretty typically your like, ooh, wow, big,
Yeah.
your routine, like, wow, that was a 20. 25 is kind of your unicorn shot.
Yeah.
But you can get a 20, that happens, and it just did. So
Yeah.
the game can turn on a power jam, and like you said, undoubtedly, that's what they're challenging here. Let's bring you some more of our sponsor information. Siphon Draw Apothecary is down there this evening, and Siphon Draw has one of our silent auction deals. Siphon Draw Apothecary offers handmade organic skincare made with the finest organic, local, and ethically sourced ingredients available. They were created by Arizona Derby Dames legend Colleen Sinclair, a.k.a. Dolly de los Muertos, and it's skater-owned and operated. They offer a wide variety of skincare products as well as doctor-recommended topicals for pain and eczema relief. Visit them at the Goldfield Ghost Town at Apache Junction or order from their website. They ship everywhere. Visit siphondraw.com to learn more about their products. We said that's one of our silent auction items this evening is the Siphon Draw Skincare gift package.
I got to give a shout out to the Lizard Lips chapstick.
I just put that on.
It's
I
amazing.
literally just put that on.
That is one of the products made by Dolly de los Muertos and available at Siphon Draw Apothecary.
You know, Aunt Tifa sold me on Tahitian honeymoon. And I didn't think I was going to like it because I don't usually like sweet lip balms.
Yeah.
But it was really, it's not sweet. It's
Okay.
just vanilla flavored. So anyway, that is, I found, the Tahitian honeymoon is basically just honey and vanilla. But their products are also great.
Sounds
Anyway, that's
lovely.
Siphon Draw, yeah. Penalty stands, challenge unsuccessful penalty stands. So we are going to have a power jam for the Coffin Draggers as we come out of this timeout.
It looks like doing the honors for the Coffin Draggers. That's going to be number 300, Dolly Spartan. It looks like the brides will be sitting one blocker in addition to their jammer, so a little bit of a lighter pack there, and blocker advantage for the Draggers. Let's see if they can capitalize on this power jam. Dolly makes it out, coming out of the second turn there. Is going to come around for her first scoring pass. Draggers trying to control a goad in the back of the pack.
Good job by the Brides defense, however, to frustrate. Dolly was not able to get out clear until 45 seconds to go in the jam, and honestly, a lot of power jam defense is not necessarily to stop, but to slow. So good job by them to try to cap this at a possible of 3 scoring passes if Dolly can get around. Now, Dolly, great block by Nightmare at the front of the pack to absorb all of Dolly's speed and slow her down. Mary's out of play, trying to get out of the way.
Draggers doing an excellent job there, holding back Holly Hood as the goad, using all 4 blockers to try and control that in the back. Murder Mittens skates forward to offer a little bit of offense there for Dolly so that they can secure a few more points, and I believe the jam clock expired.
Yeah, it did. So let's see. Let's find out what we've got for points from that jam. 15 points for the Coffin Draggers. So the Coffin Draggers with a big swing, and the Coffin Draggers go back in front 65-54. Sandra Slay O'Connor racing out there to jam for the Runaway Brides. All of you die for the Coffin Draggers.
It looks like the Brides picked up a couple of penalties there on that last jam, so they will be skating 2 blockers short. Draggers have the blocker advantage. Oh, it looks like we have a late call here on a penalty. Draggers will be down 1 skater.
We have a personnel shift going up there down there in the first turn. We have an official timeout by Crystal Ballbuster, so the regulators can adjust personnel. 8:07 to go in the second quarter. Approaching halfway until halftime here in the second quarter, 65-54. The Coffin Draggers are in front.
Very, very close game.
Switchblade Salon was established in 2005. They are a queer-owned and operated salon whose mission is to be a safe space in the community where every client is comfortable being exactly who they are, providing body-positive, gender-affirming hair creations to encourage and inspire individuals to be their most authentic selves. Stylists at the salon specialize in progressive short hair, blonding, creative color, mullets, and shags. If you're looking for an inclusive space and amazing hair, look no further. Switchblade Salon is located in Central Phoenix, off 16th Street in Indian School. For more information, head over to their website at switchbladesalon.com and on Instagram.
Are you or your business interested in becoming a sponsor of the Arizona Derby Dames? Contact sponsorship at ArizonaDerbyDames.com to find out more information about league sponsorships available.
We are back to it, and it's going to be a small pack out there. There is one blocker for the Runaway Brides and two blockers for the Coffin Draggers in the penalty box. This is going to be Olive and Sandy, as we said. Both of them take the star directly off. Neither one of them near their respective jammers at the moment. Now Sandy is going to race to the outside and is going to get pinned to the rail. Excellent blocking by that Coffin Draggers blocker at the front of the pack.
That was Tifa hustling up front to try and stop Sandy from getting out. It looks like both jammers are still in there.
Good block by Hollywood to redirect All of You Die off onto the infield.
About 20 seconds left in this jam. Both jammers still in. Olive fighting Hood on that high, trying to make it past those last few Brides blockers.
And then Lightning blocking Olive firmly off to the inside, hard down to the infield with 8 seconds left on the clock. Probably neither jammer going to get out here. We'll just watch this clock expire. That is the case. After a lot of hard work, neither jammer able to get out of the pack for their respective team. We're going to get with Cherry Kiss on the jammer line for the Brides, and this is Strange for the Coffin Draggers.
It looks like the Brides will be down one blocker for this next jam.
All right, underway we go. Strange up towards the front of the pack. Dealing with a couple of Brides blockers, now has another one to deal with as well. So here comes the pivot trying to give some help. And then along the inside, there goes Cherry for the Brides, and Cherry's going to get out for the Runaway Brides. Strange with the star off, looking for an opening, and gets blocked. Wow, hard hit by Lightning, knocking Strange down to the infield.
Cherry Kiss coming in for the initial scoring pass is met with a wall of draggers. It looks like that was Reckless Rose and Angel of Beth, but is able to get out.
Strange now is going to get out of the pack for the Draggers, is going to pop that star on. Cherry racing back to the pack, trying to get some points before calling this off. And Cherry calls it off. Strange believes they got points on the back end. That was close. We'll check down there from the infield and find out. Cherry may have waited just a second too long to call that off, or may not have gotten past.
It looks like that was 8 points picked up by the Runaway Brides, and Strange did indeed pick up 2 points, bringing the score to 67-62. Draggers lead.
Brides cutting 6 points out of that lead as we are at 5 minutes to go until halftime. You've got Stitches with the star on for the Coffin Draggers. There's Mofasta trying to get Stitches clear, and they're able to do so. Stitches is out for the Coffin Draggers. Gypsy Danger for the Brides is still getting knocked around at the back of the pack and looking for an opening. Stitches, wow, managed to squeeze right through a wall of blockers and got out. Gypsy Danger out as well, has the star on tenuously, and Stitches calls it off as Gypsy had a little bit of an advantage at the front of the pack. Five points for the Coffin Draggers. The lead is exactly 10 once again, 72-62. Cherry Kiss for the Runaway Brides. Dolly Spartan for the Coffin Draggers.
Cherry Kiss playing a little bit of jammer defense there on Dolly before they both hit the pack. Very, very slow moving pack here to start. Dolly opting to try and fight through there, but is met by a pretty solid wall of Brides blockers. Both jammers fighting to get out. Dolly is able to get out on the high and is our lead jammer. Notices Cherry that is right on her toes, and we do have a jammer race. Decides to call it off as Cherry was right on her heels.
Yeah, Cherry Kiss forcing the call off there, so no points for either side. Skaters will be exiting the track for some reason. Let's find out why. And that is going to be an official timeout. So, official timeout. 3:21 to go until halftime. The officials are going to talk this one over down there on the infield. 72-62, Coffin Draggers in front. As we mentioned, Halo Animal Rescue will only be here until 6:30, so if you want a chance to hang out with those adorable dogs, you're going to want to get down there and do that before they take off. Halftime is a great chance to do that. They are down there, and you have you can 2 raffle tickets is for 5 minutes of cuddle sessions. The kissing booth is 1 ticket. The photo booth is 1 ticket. And we have already had one of the dogs is adopted, as we mentioned, so they may be going fast. Make sure to get down and do that during halftime. Captains are going to come out and talk to the officials about something, so we're going to have a slightly extended stoppage in play. Don't forget about your vendors that are here today. Raven Sweet Haven with all of the sweet and savory goods. There's Green Irish Moon, leather and skate goods. Dead Star Press with the Bookmobile. And we've got, as I mentioned, the kissing booth and the photo booth down there in Vendor Village tonight.
Don't forget to visit the AZDD merch booth to get your favorite league and team merchandise as well as a snack. They have nice ice cold drinks, chips, cookies, I believe all kinds of goodies. So come grab some keychains, tote bags, patches, and more. We're going to go ahead and get back to the action here. It looks like both teams are going to be going to skate down 1 skater each. It looks like jamming for white, we have 1981, that's Sandra Slay O'Connor. And jamming for black, I believe that was Olive, number 96.
It is. Taking over as jammer for the Brides is Nightmare. That's excellent defense at the front of the pack by that blocker for the Coffin Draggers, playing hard at the front of the pack. And that's able to get Lightning out. Lightning takes over and gets out when Mary thought she had a clean shot. So Olive up to the pack is going to get in front of a couple of skaters and call it off. Mary sliding in late. 2 points for the Coffin Draggers. 74-62 Draggers in front. It'll be about 2.5 minutes to go until halftime. Cherry Kiss for the Runaway Brides. Strange for the Coffin Draggers. Officials are discussing something in the front straightaway. We'll keep an eye on that and see if we're going to have a jam or not. Got another blocker going down for the Brides. So that leaves the Brides with the minimum of blockers. Still Cherry Kiss and Strange.
It looks like Brides picked up a directional block and a multiplayer block there on that last jam. Both jammers are taking off quickly. Strange opts to take that high. Is faced by Lightning, who is doing some one-on-one blocking, but Strange is finally able to get out. Cherry Kiss is fighting there past those Draggers blockers and is following as well, but Strange is approaching the pack. Dragger blockers trying to keep those Brides separated to secure those points for Strange. Strange noticed that Cherry was coming up close and decides to call it.
So if you're just joining us, it has been a game of runs. This Coffin Draggers started off on a 23-0 run with lead jam in the first 4 jams, and then the Runaway Brides fought back, have taken the lead. The Coffin Draggers swung back ahead as well. So these teams have been going back and forth throughout this first half as we get close to halftime. All of you die for the Coffin Draggers, and that is Gypsy Danger for the Runaway Brides. And we've got at the front of the pack, already out, taking over as jammer for the Coffin Draggers is Hugs and Stitches, number 13.
A 3-wall of Draggers there holding Gypsy Danger back and then switching a quick O, trying to secure more points for Stitches. Stitches is able to get out past most blockers, is facing up against Mary and is able to get past. 30 seconds here left on the clock. Gypsy Danger still stuck behind that 3-wall on turn 3. As Stitches is coming in for more points, is able to get out on the low past those Brides.
Stitches right along the inside that time. Excellent blocking in the pack by the Coffin Draggers. There's still 11 seconds left on this clock. The Coffin Draggers are treating this like a power jam. Here comes Stitches. Finishes that scoring pass. 2 seconds, 1 second, and the clock expires on the jam. That'll be huge for the Coffin Draggers as we get close to halftime.
Excellent offense there by the Coffin Draggers, opening up those spaces for Stitches and distracting the skaters.
Coffin Draggers do put 15 points on the board, and it is now a power jam for the Coffin Draggers on top of that as we get ready to head into the halftime break. It is Dolly Spartan at the jammer line. The Coffin Draggers are already up by 30 points, 92-62. A lot of jockeying for position going on in the pack as we get ready to go. Dolly Spartan on the jammer line for the Coffin Draggers. The jockeying continues.
Brides opting to create a strong wall there in the back, trying to slow Dolly from the get-go.
This is an incredibly timely power jam for the Coffin Draggers as we head into the halftime break, but the Runaway Brides are up to it on the defense so far. Brides are going to try to keep this scoreless or to one scoring pass if they can and try to keep the damage to a minimum. So far, so good. 36 seconds to go in the power jam, and Dolly is not yet out.
Very strong wall there of Brides blockers, keeping Dolly stuck. A lot of recycling going on there. We see the Draggers there trying to hold a goad.
Coffin Draggers, despite having a go to the back of the pack, that front wall has not yet yielded. There are 8 seconds left in this jam, and it looks like the Runaway Brides defense is going to hold strong and keep this power jam score. This could have been absolutely huge. Can you imagine if the Coffin Draggers had hung 20 points on the board and gone into halftime with a 50-point lead?
Yeah.
I mean, we're going into halftime with the Coffin Draggers having a 30-point lead, but that is an incredibly timely defensive stand by the Runaway Brides. Huge, huge as we head into the halftime break to keep this game close.
Yeah, very huge penalty kill there by the Brides.
So we're going to have a 15-minute break here at halftime. We'll step aside, as we said, no score for either side there, 92-62. Get down there and visit Halo Animal Rescue. Use those raffle tickets to visit those dogs. And then we've also got bevy outside with delicious mixed soda drinks and some popcorn and pretzel options as well. One minute remaining, 1 minute left until the beginning of the second half. You might want to start heading back in if you can hear the sound of my voice. Wander back into the room. If you're watching on Twitch, if you've been making a ham sandwich in the kitchen, head back into the living room with your ham sandwich. We are ready to go for the second half. Shirls is playing with some dogs, so Shirls will be up here in a minute. I know you can hear me. Don't rush. Have fun with the dog, Shirls. Meanwhile, I see Strange. As we said, at least one of the dogs has been adopted already. Although apparently I've been told that we're supposed to make Shirls eat this pretzel. That's apparently important. Of course, Shirls does have to carbo load before going out and skating later, so you'll have to help me make Shirls eat a pretzel when she comes back up here. 92-62, Coffin Draggers in front. As we said, the Runaway Brides are 3-0. The Coffin Draggers are 2-0. Coffin Draggers are trying to remain undefeated on the season. And if the Brides were to win, did somebody change something? Is that changed? All right. I really wish people wouldn't change this when I'm not sitting here. I can't see this. I can't see the scoreboard. Anyway, that is Nightmare for the Runaway Brides. And I don't know who that is for the Coffin Draggers.
That's Olive, number 96 for the Draggers.
Yeah, thank you. Saw her when she was able to stand up. Mary is just going to bulldoze right through the pack, knocking skaters down like bowling pins and gets out. Looks around behind her and sees that Olive is out as well, so the Coffin Draggers are going to try to keep this to one scoring attempt for Mary. Mary's going to get around embezzlement and call it off. Charles, we were told you're supposed to eat that pretzel.
A mystery pretzel? My
I don't know.
favorite.
We were told Rosie the Ripper came by and said somebody said you're supposed to eat that.
Who came by?
Rosie. Rosie the Ripper said that
okay.
Rosie passed along word that somebody said you're supposed to eat that pretzel. There we go.
Well, thank you for the pretzel.
This is going to be Strange for the Coffin Draggers down along the inside, and that is Cherry Kiss for the Runaway Brides.
Strange almost out there and then takes a tumble. It looks like Strange is able to re-enter the track and quickly calls it off as Cherry was coming up there to contest that lead.
Yeah, Cherry had all the momentum. Heading up into the pack, was going to be able to take over as lead jammer and make some action there. We've got All of You Die for the Coffin Draggers. And that's Gypsy Danger jamming for the Runaway Brides. Gypsy Danger blocked down to the inside, trying to find an opening, any kind of an opening. Olive is also equally tangled up within a wall of Runaway Brides blockers. Gypsy is nearer the front, and now Olive's going to take off. No, Olive didn't take off. Olive handed the star to Hugs and Stitches, and Hugs and Stitches takes over as jammer for the Coffin Draggers out and clear. Draggers are going to look to get lead jam as much as they can and continue to dictate the pace of play here in the second half. So far, Gypsy Danger not yet out, trying to play some defense now. Lining up behind a blocker. Novocaine is going to spot Stitches and blocker, but Stitches down along the inside and gets out for the Draggers. 7 seconds left on the jam clock. Stitches looking around.
Stitch is just burning that time there.
Yes, indeed, towards the end of things there. All right, so that was 5 points for the Draggers to start this, get that 5 points for the Draggers. I'm not sure where I was going with that sentence. You ever like just stop a sentence because you don't know what you're saying? 97-64 Draggers in front. That is Cherry Kiss for the Runaway Brides. That is Strange for the Draggers, and Strange is out. Draggers have come to play.
Yeah, Strange out there with a lot of speed. Really working to come back around for that scoring pass. Brides opt to try and stay in front, trying to form a wall and protect those points. Strange comes in, takes a hit, and decides to call it as Cherry was approaching the pack from the back.
So the Coffin Draggers doing what they need to do. They are going to continue to try to build on that lead at 99-64, Coffin Draggers in front. This is All of You Die for the Coffin Draggers. That is Sandra Slay O'Connor for the Runaway Brides. We are into the third quarter, well into the third quarter, neither team on 100 points yet. That's pretty low scoring as far as bank track bouts go. So both teams still in double digits, and we are with 11 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Big spill at the back of the pack. Novocaine down hard, down onto the infield, is going to get up and rejoin the pack. As we look at the pack in the back straightaway, both jammers still tangled up in the pack. Sandy has got the star off and is trying to use the rail as leverage. Meanwhile, Olive at the front of the pack is going to get ridden down to the infield.
Teeny doing an excellent job there, recycling to the front to join Mary to prevent Olive from getting out. It does look like we had a star pass, however. Hugs and Stitches taking over as the jammer and lead jammer, I believe.
Yeah, it's very effective for the Coffin Draggers. They've, in particular, with Stitches grabbing the star and finding an opening to the front of the pack. The Coffin Draggers have been practically treating this like a USARS bout and using that pivot as a jammer whenever they possibly can. I mean, with passing the star and whatnot, but it really is reminiscent of that. The way that they've been able to get Stitches free, it looks like that. It looks like in USARS when the pivot just takes off. It's like all of a sudden there goes Stitches. So the Coffin Draggers up over 100 for the bout. The lead is 40, 104 to 64, with under 10 minutes to go in the third quarter. Cherry Kiss for the Runaway Brides.
And that's Dolly Spartan for the Draggers. Cherry Kiss is out as the lead jammer, able to get out before even hitting turn 1 there. Dolly's still struggling behind a wall. The Draggers trying to do a little bit of quick offense, trying to get Dolly out. It looks like there was a star pass.
There was, once again. Dolly is able to get that star over to the pivot. The Coffin Draggers have been really emphasizing that, and it has been paying dividends as they force the call off. Skaters heading off the tracks. There's going to be a timeout of some kind. It's a team timeout. So it is the first timeout of the second half for the Runaway Brides. Runaway Brides have taken their first second half timeout. 104-67 is the score. Brides put 3 points on the board. So big lead for the Coffin Draggers. Big enough? Are they going to continue to work on that lead? Are they going to shift into a prevent defense? There's a lot of options here. We're standing at kind of a fork in the road as this game goes. Definitely a lead that is not insurmountable in any way, shape, or form, with a couple of big power jams as we've already seen.
Yeah, power jams and penalties can make a very big difference on what is possible to score. So we'll see.
You've got 10 more minutes to hang out with the pups from Halo Animal Rescue. If you want to pop down there and check out those puppies. As we said, one of them already got adopted, so we would love to see if even more of them could get adopted out before they head home. 15 seconds left in the team timeout, and we'll get back to the action. This is going to be Nightmare for the Runaway Brides, and Mo Fasta is jamming for the Coffin Draggers.
It does look like the Draggers picked up 2 penalties on that last jam, so they will be down 2 blockers. Blocker advantage goes to the Brides. Nightmare trying to get past that last blocker, but Hugs and Stitches is able to knock Mary off the track, both quickly resetting. And once again facing off, Mary is able to take the high and is out as your lead jammer.
Mary got around Stitches there. You saw Stitches got turned around and then lost her balance. So Mary's out for the Runaway Brides. What the Brides want, Brides are going to have to get lead jam as often as they can. Mary seeing that she wasn't going to catch Mo Fasta and calls it off. It looks like, however, Nightmare straight to the penalty box. As we just mentioned, we've got a penalty, we've got a power jam for the Coffin Draggers coming up. Coffin Draggers putting their power O out there. They're going to switch jammers. Taking over is Dolly Spartan. We've seen this before. Dolly definitely their primary power jammer. Sorry. Dolly is up into the pack and has taken the star off and is going to be looking to pass that forward if they can. Does not, gets out of her own volition and is going to put that star back on. 42 seconds left in the power jam for the Coffin Draggers. Runaway Brides, in addition to trying to keep this from being a multi-point scoring power jam, the loss of 60 seconds of game time is also instrumental here in the late going. I say late going, we're only halfway through the third quarter, but that's what the size of the lead will dictate, is having to look at things like that. Dolly does finish a scoring pass and gets out. And Dolly is now at the very back of the pack, is going to get it around Astro. Astro is struggling to get back to the pack, still tried to block despite being wobbly on their skates, still tried to block Dolly. Dolly this time runs up into the pack and gets blocked, and that's going to do it for the clock.
Jamming up next, it looks like that's going to be All of You Die for the Coffin Draggers and Sandy for the Runaway Brides.
It was a 10-point jam for the Coffin Draggers. So, 10-point power jam, I should say. So, brides are able to keep that to a 10-point power jam. We have a whistle and a stoppage in play down in the pack. We're going to have a reset, jam reset. Jam reset is what we're going to have. So, stoppage in play. We have Yazzle Dazzle coming up to us. All right, so jam reset. There were too many skaters for one of the teams, so they blew the whistle, brought everybody back, restocked. Yep, you don't see that often, but we've got it all set. Yeah, one of the teams had too many skaters. That is going to be, as we said, Sandy and Olive. Give me a chance to recover after having a small coughing fit. Olive gets out for the Coffin Draggers. That's what the Draggers are looking for. Meanwhile, big tumble at the front of the pack. Sandy, don't know if she still has the star or if Mary has taken over. Mary's got it in her hand. So Night Mary now the jammer for the Coffin Draggers. Olive is up into the pack and is fighting her way through. Mary is going to put that star on now for the brides. Olive is going to finish off that scoring pass and then call it off. So the Coffin Draggers put 4 more on the board. There'll be about 5.5 minutes to go in the third quarter when this jam starts. Cherry Kiss on the jammer line for the brides. Strange for the Coffin Draggers.
Checking in on the score, it's 119-71, Draggers lead. Strange comes in, tries to take the low, is hit out there by Ash Masham. Takes a big hit from Gnarly. Couple of tumbles there happening in the back of the pack. Cherry is able to get out. Looks like Cherry opted to stash the star and was able to sneak out of the pack there. We see Strange opting to play a little bit of jammer defense, is held back by 3 brides blockers, takes advantage of the chaos that's taking place and makes a run for it.
Yeah, able to take advantage of that turbulence in the pack. The bench yelling to call it as Strange was coming in with the full head of steam. I heard a That's Your Jammer, and then I heard Sandy say Power O, so this is going to be a power jam for the Runaway Brides. That is Sandra Slay O'Connor on the jammer line for the brides. We're going to have a stoppage in play of some kind. Skaters heading off the track. Let's find out what that is. Let's see if one of the teams wants to take a second to talk about it. Yes. Runaway Brides are going to use their final timeout of the game. Well then, the Runaway Brides are now out of team timeouts and only have their challenge left. That's early in the third quarter. No team timeouts left for the Brides. So the Brides are going to take a second. I mean, that's that. If you're going to use your last timeout, you want to do it at a time like this, and they're going to do everything they possibly can to hang a 20-burger on the board here if they can, and I'm sure of it.
Yeah, this is a chance to really try and close that gap or at least bring it in a little bit smaller so that they have less work to do going into the fourth quarter.
Tucci's Touch Massage is one of our longtime sponsors. They're not here doing massages in the vendor area tonight, but they often are. They were here during that whole tournament, as you're aware. They specialize in trigger point therapy, targeting muscle knots and tension to relieve pain and improve mobility. Their injury rehab approach combines therapeutic techniques to accelerate recovery and restore functional movement. That is Tucci's Touch. We would like to thank our medic, Kyle. Kyle is our medic tonight. We need volunteer medics to be out on the track at all times. If you are trained as a medic or first responder of some kind, we're going to have a OTO now. So the team timeout has now progressed into an OTO for official purposes, but not a challenge. Meanwhile, if you're trained as a medic or something along those lines, first responder, anything like that, we always need more medics to help us out. So talk to us here. We'll put you in touch with Bout Production as far as being a medic down there in the infield. we always say we hope our medics just get to sit and enjoy 4 hours of great roller derby. Sometimes they're needed to be pressed into play, but we're always looking for more medics, so we have a fully staffed crew. Now it's a challenge. Now the Coffin Draggers are going to use their second half challenge. So here we go. All right, Coffin Draggers are challenging. We'll find out what for in a minute.
You okay?
So we wanted to let you know about some of our league sponsors. We wanted to tell you about Raya Riot Tattoo once more. Don't forget that's one of our silent auction items, the Raya Riot Tattoo gift certificate. At the Riot Collective Private Studio, tattoos and laser tattoo removal come with zero judgment and all the good vibes. Whether you're adding new art or letting go of the old, you'll find a safe, inclusive, and chill space made just for you. You can follow them online at the_Riot_Collective, Raya_Riot, or Boner Riot. That's Raya Riot Tattoo.
We also want to go ahead and give a shout out to Tucci from Tucci's Touch Massage. Tucci's Touch Massage is providing free 10 minutes massages in the vendor area, specializing in trigger point therapy, targeting muscle knots and tension to relieve pain and improve mobility. Their injury rehab approach to... Oh, sorry, I lost my place.
Sorry. Oh my God.
It's
I'm
okay.
terrible. I put it back in the dark.
Their injury rehab approach combines therapeutic techniques to accelerate recovery and restore functional movement. Clifton, you actually may not know this, but I'm actually illiterate, so.
Well, I apologize. Well, I literally was like making some adjustments because I realized I had also done Tucci. We're keeping track of our announcer's notes like I've done Switchblade once. And I was like, oh, I need to make those notes. And you're in the middle of reading, and I just took what you were reading and then shoved it back in the shadows.
You know,
Classic.
We're doing our best, and we just go with
All
the
right.
flow.
Freya's hanging out with like Bout production staff and is like checking in with me. Let me see what they need.
All right, friends, and I'm just hearing here from Skid, we're getting the inside scoop. Halo Animal Rescue is going to be heading out in 15 minutes. 15 minutes. So this is your final call to check out some of those cute puppies they brought. Go check out Momo. Go check out Nikki. Go check out Mags. I forget the name of the other dogs they have out there, but get your kissing booth in, get your cuddle sessions in. They will be heading out in 15 minutes. Check them out in the vendor village.
All right, we are back to it. Cherry Kiss knows that this is a pressure-packed point in the game. 4:19 to go in the third quarter, and the Runaway Bride's out there for the power jam. We're already underway, just like that.
Lightning playing some offense there, trying to open up a path for a Cherry Kiss, while the rest of the Brides, that's Mary and Callie, are holding back a goad.
Yeah, great defense so far by the Coffin Draggers. Draggers have not let that jammer out, and you know that is definitely the name of the game in the power jam. The Coffin Draggers would love to keep this, would love to run the clock here as well. I mean, obviously, every second that comes off helps the Draggers in this situation.
A lot
Cherry,
of recycling.
no luck. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say a lot of recycling on both teams' sides. It looks like there was a star pass there, Lightning taking over as the jammer of choice with 15 seconds on the clock. Draggers trying to form a wall in the front to prevent any scoring. Lightning able to pick up all of the points and then decides to call it, sees that there was less than 15 seconds on the clock.
I just have to point this out because this really amuses me greatly. The lineup for the Runaway Brides in that jam, 5 points, by the way, what we expected. So great defense by the Brides, honestly. Excuse me, by the Draggers, honestly. The Brides just fielded 4 people on the track, and it was 2 sets of sisters. It was Cherry and Lightning and Callie and Mary.
Oh my gosh, I did
Isn't
not
that
even
great?
notice that, but you're
I was
right.
going to say, if Nova had been out there too, it would have been a full house. Nova being yeah, that would have been, that's very fun. I happened to glance, and I was counting in my head and looking, and yeah, we had 2 pairs of siblings out there at once. That doesn't happen often. Mary back over to the bench. Mary, I think, took a shot to the face and is on the bench kind of feeling the eye, looking up at me, so may have heard that. Yeah, both the sisters down there talking to each other, Mary and Callie, after the defense on that power jam. Still getting the pack adjusted. I'm still yammering on about stuff. And we got a skater taking a tumble and then exiting the track.
It looks like both teams picked up quite a few penalties. 3 penalties on the Draggers, 2 penalties on White. So a very light pack going into this next jam. We have Dolly as our next jammer for the Coffin Draggers, and I can't quite see who's in front.
That's Gypsy Danger.
Gypsy Danger, all
Yep.
right.
Only can tell because of the side piping on the Hot Shots jersey.
That was Murder Mittens delivering quite the shoulder to Gypsy Danger, allowing Dolly Spartan to take over.
Excellent
or to
block.
take lead jammer status.
Gypsy gets out as well to try to keep this at 1 scoring attempt for Dolly.
Yeah. Draggers not discouraged, though, trying to go in and trying to help Dolly secure some points here. Big hits as Gypsy is coming back around. Dolly decides to call it. We'll have to wait to hear from the refs to see if either jammer was able to pick up some points.
Watching Lightning and Cherry Kiss skate together is like watching the Boozer brothers at Duke. They are fraternal twins. One of them's like 6'8", and one of them's like 6'2", but they're the same age. So they basically have been playing point guard, power forward together their entire lives. Because they've always been in the same age bracket and have gone through like AAU ball together, right? Watching them play together is like watching Cherry and Lightning skate. It's like telepathy.
Yeah, 2 very, very strong jammers, or skaters just in general for Derby, who have been skating for a very, very long time. Lots of experience under their belts.
So 122.79, that is Sandy for the Brides down there deep in the turn, was trying to get out, gets blocked again. That Draggers defense has been real tough at the front of the pack all night long. As we mentioned, the Brides still in double digits here deep into the 3rd quarter. Sandy blocked down to the inside, has the star off, but has not passed it yet. I see Lightning there unadorned.
A lot of recycling going on as each team is fighting for control. Olive finally able to get out there with a star stash, is the lead jammer with 15 seconds remaining on the clock. Brides trying to wall up in the back to discourage any point scoring. Olive decides to come in and see if she can pick up some points there, trying to wedge her way underneath and secure any points that she can before the clock expires.
So we'll check on the score. Coffin Draggers, they'll take points, but definitely the Draggers are looking to burn clock is what they're looking for at this point. This is going to be under a minute to go until the end of the 3rd quarter, most likely our last jam of the 3rd quarter. Dolly Spartan and Cherry Kiss.
Looks like the score is 125-79. Coffin Draggers lead, and this may be our last jam of the 3rd quarter. A couple of penalties picked up by both teams there, so a little bit of a lighter pack. Cherry comes in, takes the high, takes the low, and is out as your lead jammer. Dolly fighting against Lightning there on the high, fighting against Ash, fighting against Lightning again, fighting against Ash again, is able to bully her way out, and is the jammer for the Draggers as Cherry Kiss is fighting in the back, trying to pick up some points. Gonna have to wait to hear from the refs here to see if the Draggers were able to pick up any points.
We'll
there.
find out. Dolly
very
Dolly
tight
giving
race.
it up at the end there and really getting a pat on the back from Aunt Tifa heading back to the bench. You know, if Dolly's heading back to the bench looking visibly winded, that it was a heck of a hit. Dolly's taken some hits over her career. So yeah, that one, when you see Dolly get up and have to kind of like think about it for a second, you know that was quite a shot.
I got to tell you, Dolly is sturdy too.
Yes,
Not
so
to be messed with.
We'll keep an eye on that as we always do. We'll see if, make sure everybody's up and okay. I see penalties on the board. I see 2 of them for the Brides coming up. 3 points for both sides, 128 to 82. Coffin Draggers are going to look to keep this lead as we go into this. As we said, this is 1 versus 2. This is the battle for the top in the standings. Coffin Draggers, as we said, if the Brides come back to win this, they end the season 4-0. The Brides are done tonight, so the Brides are currently 3-0. If the Coffin Draggers win, then the Brides would be 3-1, the Draggers would be 3-0, and then first, the number 1 seed would be completely up in the air. Who the heck knows? There would be, I'm sure, innumerable tiebreakers if we have multiple teams end at 3-1, which is entirely possible given that the Valkyries are looking to go to 2-1 tonight, and will be trying to go to 3-1 in March. That is what we're dealing with here, people. This is a big fight atop the standings, and the Coffin Draggers are making a prime statement at the moment as far as their intention to return to the title game this May.
My brain hurts, Clifton, trying to think about the math for that one.
I know. I was going to say, if the Brides won, it was going to be easy. If the Brides won, that was that. Then the next bout was going to be 2, 3, 4, 5 seeding, and then that was going to be the playoffs, and then the Brides were going to be off until May, and the Draggers are trying to make it real, real complicated. We'll find out in a bit.
This is what makes it interesting, right? We'll go ahead and take advantage here of the quarter break to try and remind you of some of the vendors that we have in Vendor Village. Be sure to check out Raven's Sweet Haven. Raven is offering all kinds of sweet treats as well as savory treats, pies, cookies, muffins. Anything you can probably dream of, Raven has it. Go ahead and check them out. We also have Green Irish Moon, which offers leather and skate goods. Be sure to see what merchandise they brought today, from skate covers to lace guards, all kinds of things. I think I've seen keychains over there as well. Dead Star Press, which is bringing us the fantastic book selection. Very, very large selection of books across different genres. Be sure to check them out. And they also offer deals if you buy more than one of their books. So go ahead and check out. That's, again, Dead Star Press. All right, friends, we're heading into the final quarter of this game. Going in, it looks like we're going to have 1 blocker down for the Coffin Draggers, 2 for the Runaway Brides. Doing the honors of jamming, that is Hugs and Stitches for the Draggers, and Night Mary for the Runaway Brides. Night Mary gets out and is our lead jammer. Hugs and Stitches, they're stuck between the sisters, the powerhouse sisters there, Cherry Kiss and Lightning.
So now Mary is going to try to get some points here, gets past a couple of blockers, and gets ridden off the track, gets up to reestablish and calls it off. So the Brides have a ways to go. It is 15 minutes of game action remaining, and we will see what develops. But they are going to be looking to get points in the bunches if they are at all able. This is going to be Sandra Slay O'Connor for the Brides and Strange for the Coffin Draggers. Jammers both kind of shifting around, trying to figure out where they want to go. Okay, finally underway. We've got, Sandy's got the star off. The star has already been passed forward by the Draggers, now been passed forward by the Brides as well. So taking over as jammer for the Coffin Draggers is Angel of Beth for the first time. That's Gypsy Danger taking over as jammer for the Brides. Angel of Beth along the inside gets those points and calls it off. Well timed, able to get right back to the pack before Gypsy Danger. Coffin Draggers are going to look to keep that clock moving. The clock is their friend at the moment. The Brides are going to be looking to do what they can to put points on the board by the handful at this point. Lightning the Queen has taken the jammer line for the Runaway Brides, All of You Die for the Coffin Draggers. That's sequential numbers. Hi, Johnny Pepper. 95, Lightning the Queen. 96, All of You Die. I had no idea Johnny Pepper liked numbers so much. I bet he likes trains, too. I'm just going to take a wild guess. Just a wild guess, seriously. Meanwhile, we've got Lightning now is spinning around. Toe blocks trying to push forward against those jammers, spins, and gets blocked off to the infield.
It looks like that's embezzlement and Hugs and Stitches giving Lightning a run for her money there from the Coffin Draggers.
And now finally, Stitches gets out, stays upright amazingly, and puts the star back on. So, time running, that's what the Draggers are looking for here. The Draggers might get a couple of points out of this, but they are definitely looking to run that clock. Stitches gets up there, gets that point, and possible ghost at the back. I can't see the penalty box from here, but we'll find out. We've got one penalty. We got an arms penalty on one of the Brides blockers. The penalty box for the Brides is right in front of me. I can obviously see that. There was nobody in it. There was no ghost point. There is now. That is Nightmare on the jammer line this time for the Brides, 134.85. Draggers are in front. This is Dolly Spartan for the Draggers. Slowly up to the pack.
Oh, both jammers coming up to the pack quite slowly there. A very slow start to that jam. Starting to pick up speed here as Dolly is able to fight her way out on the low and is the lead jammer. Nightmare is still stuck behind a three-wall of jammers, tries to take the lows, but is delivered to the infield by Reckless Rose.
Yeah, excellent block at the back of the pack by Reckless Rose. Now here comes Dolly along the inside, and Dolly gets out and clear for the Draggers. Dolly's going to look to come around. That was a block at the front of the pack by Murder Mittens, knocked Nightmare onto the infield, but Nightmare got back up and went on around, so at least Nightmare believed that Murder Mittens was out of play. Mary is favoring that side of the face again. We have to keep an eye on that as Mary heads back to the pack, and Dolly's going to call it off. We saw Mary get either poked in the eye or hit on the side of the face earlier during a jam while she was playing defense, and that may have been aggravated. She was kind of reaching up to the same spot. So they're going to check on her when she gets back to the bench. You can see hands on knees. Must have taken a shot of some fashion, one way or another. So Nightmare back to the bench. And I, at the moment, don't have a jammer for the Brides, nor anybody in the penalty box.
It looks like there's still, I see Castro writing down some penalties there on the board, so I think we're going to have a few late calls on penalties
there it was.
here. It looks like Mary, the Brides jammer, picked up an arms and a cut on that last jam. So this will be a power jam for the Coffin Draggers.
Yes, it is. At 10:35 to go in the fourth quarter, and a huge opportunity for the Coffin Draggers to really build on this lead here in the late going.
Now, the Coffin Draggers do have a power jam. However, they are also going to be down two blockers. Two blockers from that last jam picked up arms penalties, so the Brides do have a blocker advantage going into this power jam for the Draggers.
Olive already has the star off. They're definitely got that in play. I see her with her hand just right up against the back of Stitches. They are absolutely running that covert, not letting it know, like the RPO in college football when you tuck the ball into the belly of the running back and pull it back at the last second. And with the whip.
Yeah, Bride's trying to stay in front, but Olive and Stitches were able to get out. Olive offering that helping hand to Stitches, securing some speed there. Stitches almost out on the low. Brides opting to recycle, trying to stay in control of the pack speed and score. Stitches opts to call it, I believe.
Yeah, I believe that happened at the back of the pack. Stitches calling it off. We're under 10 minutes to go in the game. 5 points for Stitches there during that power jam. We've got one blocker for the Brides in the penalty box. This is going to be Dolly Spartan for the Coffin Draggers. Sandra Slay O'Connor for the Runaway Brides. They are underway. Dolly, right along the inside, quickly found an opening. And the Coffin Draggers, once again, have been so good at getting their jammer out quickly, either first or getting their jammer out in pursuit. Now Sandy's going to line up to play jammer defense at the back of the pack.
Yeah, we saw the brides blockers opting to hold Sandy there, asking for a little bit of assistance in slowing down the scoring of Dolly Spartan. Draggers opting to make a 4-wall there, trying to keep those brides blockers separated to try and make the work as easy as possible for Dolly. Sandy is able to take advantage of the chaos there and is finally out as Dolly is coming back for an additional scoring pass. The brides a little bit split up there, 2 in the front, 1 in the back. Mary tries to play a little bit of final O for Sandy, but I believe the clock expired on that jam.
Yes, it did. We've got 1 point for the brides. 10, 11, 12, 13 points for the Coffin Draggers on that jam. Big jam for the Coffin Draggers in the late going. 15, excuse me. They had an out of play. They got 15 points on the board for the Draggers. All 5 of the points on the 3rd scoring pass. There's going to be we're halfway through the 4th quarter approximately right now. 163-86. The Coffin Draggers are on pursuit to try to get this as far as they can in advance and not leave any doubt here late in the game. I see fans getting here for the Valkyries and the Bombshells, and we'll get to you all, obviously, as soon as this game is over. But this is for a whole lot of playoff marbles here, as we've mentioned a few times. Taking over as jammer for the Coffin Draggers and getting out is Mo Fasta, number 710. The Draggers continuing to dictate the pace of play. Honestly, the Draggers are really playing the bride's game, is really what they're doing. The Draggers are really acting like the brides here and doing a good job of it this evening. Mo gets out, Cherry Kiss racing back to the pack, crashes into one of her own blockers and calls it off, and it's called off by Mo. We'll check and see if Cherry got points on the back end or not.
Up next jamming, we have Sandy for the Runaway Brides and Angel of Beth for the Coffin Draggers. It looks like we're going to be taking a little bit of a brief
We
time
are.
out.
We got team timeout Coffin Draggers, as we know, obviously. Nope, apparently not. Just an OTO. OTO, sorry. I saw the Dragger signal for a timeout, but apparently the OTO apparently the OTO preceded that, so the Draggers are not charged a timeout. That happens. We see that happen sometimes. So, Draggers do still have both of their second half timeouts if they need them. 167-86, the Draggers are in front. Hey, we certainly hope you had a chance. To visit with Halo Animal Rescue. We know those dogs have packed up and have headed home for the evening. Don't forget, they were that's a very worthy cause to track down and look into as well, Halo Animal Rescue. They are a safety net for thousands of homeless dogs and cats each year. They never euthanize and take pride in providing each of their animals with the nurturing love they give to their own pets at home. Halo had brought a few Valentale's pals tonight. We sold raffle tickets for the option to hang out with them, and at least one of them got adopted, so that was certainly a lot of fun. Officials are discussing along the front straightaway. As we said, this is an official timeout and not a team timeout. Mark your calendars for the All Skate. All Skate is the last Friday of every month, 6 to 9 p.m. right here at the warehouse. That's right. Your All Skate for February is going to be the last Friday of February. That is the 27th, Friday, February 27th, 6 to 9 p.m. right here at the warehouse. Everyone's welcome, whether you're here to scrimmage, open skate, or just vibe with the Derby community. You will see a QR code on the slideshow to sign up, or you can just show up and roll with us. Come shred, connect, and have a good time. That's the All Skate. The new skater orientation we have mentioned is the first Sunday of every month, 9 a.m. to noon. So the new skater orientation for March is Sunday, March 1st. Sunday, March 1st. So, the same weekend as the All Skate. The All Skate will be Friday night, February 27th. And the new skater orientation is going to be Sunday morning, March 1st. New skater orientation, no experience needed. Just bring your energy and see if Derby is for you. We're back to the action after that official timeout, and there was a penalty assessed to Cherry Kiss for the Runaway Brides. This is a late power jam for the Coffin Draggers, and the Draggers are going to look to really put some points on the board here if they can and try to salt this thing away. Hugs and Stitches down to the inside, spun off to the infield a couple of different times. Bride's defense up to the task here, had some time to talk about it, obviously. Star's been handed forward with a running start. Taking off and taking over as jammer is Murder Mittens for the Coffin Draggers. So now the Brides are going to try to get together and force the pace of play. We've got Murder Mittens down along the inside and is through and clear for the Draggers. Blocker down hard in the pack. That was Ash Smasham who fell hard down there in the turn. Wow, Murder Mittens. Wow, pretty. Murder Mittens weaving through the pack, much to the exasperation of Nightmare. Got by Nightmare, just sneakily got through the pack and calls it off. 10 points for the Coffin Draggers on the power jam. There'll be just more than 5 minutes to go in regulation. This is going to be All of You Die for the Coffin Draggers and Cherry Kiss for the Runaway Brides. Draggers send one more blocker down. 2 blockers for the Draggers in the penalty box and one for the Brides. For the Brides, that is Cherry Kiss getting out of the pack nearly right away. Dashing out of the pack goes Cherry Kiss. Down in the pack, we're looking at Olive, who gets to go on around. The blocker came off the track, so Olive gets to go on by. Try to keep this to 1 scoring pass for Cherry. Cherry is going to put the hammer down and try to force this issue and try to get that jammer point, it would look like, but is not going to get there. Signals to call it off. I heard down a jammer. We're going to have power offense. We have the Runaway Brides with a power jam here in the late going. That's going to be Sandra Slay O'Connor. No, it is not. It is Cherry Kiss heading to the jammer line for the Brides. Everybody shifting around. Brides shifting into their power offense, as we said. 4:08 to go. So Cherry up to the pack. Not able to find an opening right away and is looking for an opening, trying to get past those blockers. Wow, everybody down, including Cherry. Mary down hard as well. Several skaters down at the back of the pack. Yeah, Mary went down real hard in kind of a heap of skates and legs, and Mary's going to get off the track. Mary gets off the track to get out of the way. So she'll get tended to on the bench. They're going to help Mary now. And Mary's going to lay down on the Draggers bench and get looked at over there. There's Cherry Kiss. Back in the pack on this power jam. Draggers defense holding strong. Cherry gets blocked out of the infield, has to get up to reestablish. 16 seconds left on the power jam and hit again, down against the rail, almost falls into the kick plate. Took every bit of that hit, went face first into the rail, and is trying to drag herself back to her feet from the back of the pack. Really taking it out of her here. Not out, so she can't call it off, and the clock expires. Cherry Kiss just absolutely took a beating down there in the pack. During that, and no points, and excellent defense by the Coffin Draggers. There's going to be about 2:45 to go in regulation. Gypsy Danger on the jammer line for the Runaway Brides. And that is Dolly Spartan for the Coffin Draggers. Draggers looking to close this out and move into the #1 spot in the standings for the season. 2:38 to go in the 4th quarter. Gypsy takes the star off. Dolly finds an opening and dashes to the front for the Coffin Draggers. Dolly is out. Gypsy's going to put the star on back behind, out as well.
Draggers holding a goat in the back there, trying to secure some points. for the jammer.
Dolly skates in and calls it off. Coffin Draggers just looking to escort that clock down to quadruple zeros. 1 point for the Draggers. All of you die for the Coffin Draggers. Sandra Slay O'Connor for the Runaway Brides. The Runaway Brides have not lost a bout in a long time. This is big news heading down the pike. Sandy along the inside takes that star off. All of you die takes that star off as well. The Brides have passed the star forward to Lightning the Queen. Lightning now up to the pack, is going to weave through, runs into a blocker, gets hit hard and gets knocked backwards, almost clotheslined. He's going to get hit again by Murder Mittens. Taking over as jammer for the Draggers now is Hugs and Stitches, as she has done many times for the Draggers here this evening. Lightning is going to call it off, and wow, did so just as the star went off the back of her helmet and had called it off. I was watching. That would have been interesting if she'd been signaling to call it off while the star fell off. That could have been an illegal call-off penalty, but it was not. Under a minute to go in regulation. This is going to be Dolly Spartan for the Coffin Draggers, and just Dolly Spartan. It looks like we're going to have a power jam for the Coffin Draggers to take us to the end of regulation. This should just about do it. Power offense, Dolly Spartan calling out instructions to the team despite the fact that they're up by nearly 80 points with 41 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Still calling out instructions to the team. 2 blockers out there for the Coffin Draggers, it looks like. 3 for the Brides. And the jam is underway. So the Coffin Draggers are going to look to escort this clock to zeros and skate penalty free if they can to prevent any penalty jams from happening. Dolly blocked out of the infield and is now going to shake through the pack and get clear. You can tell that the Runaway Brides are also trying not to pick up any penalties likewise. Runaway Brides know that if they're going to have any chance, they got to get a jammer out there. Good block by Gnarly Quinn on the back of the pack. Dolly gets knocked down, just reestablishes behind the whole pack, and is going to be content to hang out behind that 3 wall of Brides blockers. The Draggers now are going to try to play the accordion, and Dolly is just going to call it off. Regulation clock has reached zeros. Let's check on the score from the infield and see if there's going to be any penalty jams. It's like I said, it's been a very, very, very long time since anybody has beat the Runaway Brides. But that score right now on the scoreboard would indicate that that is about to become official if there are no penalty jams to worry about. Massive, monumental upset at the top of the standings for the first time in a very long time. Checking in, and here comes head referee Yazzle Dazzle, and this is going to do it. With this whistle, that is it. The Runaway Brides have been defeated for the first time in over 8 years, by my estimation.
Sounds about right.
I believe that is correct. I believe the last time the Brides lost was early in the 2017-2018 season, and the Coffin Draggers are victorious, 183-94. Not just victorious, but emphatically victorious. They held the Brides under 100 points as well. An all-around, thoroughly solid effort in all 3 phases of the game for the Coffin Draggers. What about? Brides are going to come around now for their appreciative fans as well. Still slapping trackside and waiting for them to come around. Excellent effort by the Brides as always. You know they were in it. Yeah, huge cheer for the Brides as well, from the Draggers fans as well. That's a winning streak that is up there, fans. That is a winning streak that is up there in the winning streaks of winning streaks in sports. And that streak has come to a close. So that's interesting. So now the Runaway Brides are 3-1, and they are done for the season. The Coffin Draggers are at number 1 in the standings at 3-0. The brides now have to wait for the last bout of the season, and we will find out how many teams finish at 3-1. Frankly, if any of them, the brides could still be the number 1 seed. This does not mean the brides have lost the number 1 seed. They were just guaranteed it if they won tonight. So what this means, as I said, though, is that the draggers now hold the keys, and the draggers have to skate once more. If they are victorious in our March bout, the draggers will be the number 1 seed and get to skip directly to the championship bout. But the Valkyries and the Bombshells are going to see what they can do about that. The Valkyries are going to try to go to 2-1 in the season in about 29 minutes and 2 seconds. 30-minute break until the next bout starts. Your next bout is going to start right about 7:33, 7:34. We'll bring you team intros about 2 minutes before that. I'm going to get off the air. We'll be back in a bit. You have just seen a monumental upset at the top of the standings here in Season 20 of the Arizona Derby Dames.
Thank you, Clifton.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. What's up, baby?